The following program is rated GE. It is suitable for general family viewing.
Did you know that the first European explorers to land on the Kenyan coastlines were from Portugal? Did you know that they actually contributed a lot to the Kiswahili language and to the architecture along the Kenyan coastline?
6,700 kilometers, that's the distance between Lisbon and Nairobi. Between the golden coastlines of the Atlantic and the sweeping savannas of East Africa. But some connections transcend distance. Welcome to BALOZI Speaks, where the world comes to Kenya one ambassador at a time. Today we step inside the chancery of Her Excellency Filomena Rocha, Portugal's ambassador to Kenya, a nation of explorers, of bold ideas, and a growing partner to Kenya. From trade to education, from culture to climate, two nations building something bigger than geography. This is BALOZI Speaks.
All right, we're just about to have a chat with Ambassador Filomena Rocha, Ambassador of Portugal in Kenya. Madam Ambassador, thank you so much for having us today.
Well, it's a pleasure to host you.
All right, so probably we start with your journey in diplomacy. Where have you been before your posting as Ambassador to Kenya in 2022?
The first time I was posted abroad, I was posted in Pakistan. Then I went to the Netherlands, then to South Africa, back to Lisbon, and then to Venezuela, and then the US, France, back to Lisbon, and now I'm here.
Wow, quite a journey there.
Yes.
So, because I'm trying to understand the kind of culture and what you had to interact with. Because when it comes to Kenya, what would you say is perhaps the most unique thing that you've experienced, different from anywhere else you've been?
It's the warmth of the people, honestly, because I deeply admire the resilience of Kenyans and the fact that no matter the circumstances, they always have a smile, which is something that, believe it or not, you don't see it so frequently around the world. And another thing is the hospitality. I've never been to a place where people are so hospitable as here in Kenya. I would say that's the unique feature of Kenyan people.
And if you could make any comparison with Portugal, what is the one thing that makes you feel very much at home in Nairobi?
Good question. I would say that I will feel more at home in Mombasa because of the sea. You know, when you are a Portuguese, the sea is something that you always long for. So I would say, sorry if the answer is not quite what you expect, but I would feel more at home in Mombasa than here.
Not Nairobi. Speaking of Mombasa, because what many people may not know, many Kenyans do not know, is a kind of history that we share with Portugal. That among the very first European explorers to land on the Kenyan coastline were Portuguese. Tell us more about that.
Well, we were the first to land here at the beginning of the 16th century, end of the 15th, beginning of the 16th century. We built the first Christian church in Eastern Africa that still stands today in Malindi. And we also, as you know, built Fort Jesus in Mombasa that served as not only as a defense for the ships that were on the way from Europe to India and to Far East. And what else? Well, I was told that in Lamu there are still people who claim Portuguese ancestry. So yes, we have a long-standing relationship.
And the Vasco da Gama pillar.
And the Vasco, yes, and the Vasco da Gama pillar, of course.
There's also the amount of contribution you made to the Swahili language. I understand that quite a number of the Swahili words.
Yes, for example, mesa.
Mesa for table.
Yes.
That's Portuguese.
That's 100% Portuguese.
Wow.
Yes.
What else?
I don't know, there are about 50 words, but mesa is one that I know for sure. I'm not too sure about the others.
Now, this history dates back a few hundred years. But at present, this architecture from back then, a bit of the culture still affects the kind of environment we have in Kenya today, especially at the coast, you say. How is it right now?
I think it's especially in the monuments that were left behind, and also in the interactions between both peoples. Like I said, in Lamu there are still people who claim Portuguese ancestry, so there were people that established themselves here and intermarriage, and we left a mark in the language.
Let's talk more about now the European Union. You've been a member of the EU since 1986. How is it working with the EU now in Africa?
I would say quite well. You know, each individual country, each individual member state of the European Union, we all bring something to the collective institution. And I think when it comes to Portugal, we brought the fact that we have relations all over the world, established during centuries, the fact that we have a broad vision we have a global vision of the world, and I think that's extremely important, especially nowadays. So this is what we bring to the table when it comes to European Union in Africa, the fact that we have a deep understanding that was forged through more than 5 centuries.
Now, talking about the specific footprint that Portugal has in Kenya, what are some of the projects that you engage in within the Kenyan borders?
We had projects at the coast. Sorry,
again at the coast.
We keep getting back to the same place, and especially in Lamu. When it comes to protection of the environment and the biodiversity, we have some bilateral cooperation projects that we have established with the civil society in Lamu. We also have some cooperation projects here in the Nairobi region, especially when it comes to education and also in the health and environment sectors. This on a bilateral basis. Within the European Union, we also worked in a project called Go Blue. Again, at the coast, it was a project that was targeting the coast, and we worked in cooperation regarding tourism and cultural heritage. We helped the coastal regions to develop kind of a map plan on how to structure the tourism industry at the coast.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So you're huge on when it comes to the European, or rather the blue economy, and understandably because of the length of your coastline. How much of that do you think Kenya can benefit from? And of course, again, back at the coast, Mombasa and Malindi.
I think you have a huge potential that to a certain extent remains untapped. Because when we look at the news, when we see where the main pillars of the Kenyan economy, the first thing that comes to your mind is agriculture. But you have a huge coastline. You have huge resources in that area, and also Lake Victoria. But especially at the coast, that's where our expertise could help you, because we have a huge coastline. Blue economy is one of the pillars of our economy, and I think there's room for increasing cooperation in that area.
For the first time, I think now we have a specific CS in charge of the blue economy. Has that helped in terms of relations and you connecting with Kenyan as far as helping us understand more about the blue economy?
We are in the process of negotiating a memorandum of understanding precisely on blue economy. So we hope that once that is signed, that we can move things forward much faster.
All right. And as I mentioned earlier, Portugal has one of the longest coastlines, yes, in the southwest of continental Europe. And we'll be talking about matters, tourism, and the kind of opportunities that are there between Portugal and Kenya. But that after the break.
One area would be to try a pilot project in the Kenyan school system for Portuguese language to be taught, not just at university level, but at a lower level.
All right, welcome back. We're still having a chat with Madam Ambassador Ana Filomena Rocha, who's the head of mission from Portugal to Kenya. Let's now talk about matters tourism. And you've been in Kenya for about 2-3 years now.
3.5.
3.5 years. And what are some of the highlights? What are some of your highlights in as far as the places you visited that if at all someone was coming from Portugal, you tell them this is where to go?
Gede ruins.
Gede ruins.
I mean, it was unexpected and absolutely amazing. Because I think Kenya, it's much more than just beach and safaris. Because let's face it, you have competition in that area. What makes Kenya unique, it's your history, it's your culture, it's what makes the difference between you and other African countries. And I think there's a potential for your cultural heritage when it comes to tourism, that it's a pity it remains a bit untapped so far. And I think there's a huge potential for that. And like I said, I was extremely surprised when I visited the Gede ruins.
What do you think is a challenge with Kenya? Is it too much focus on safari and probably the beach?
Yes, because I think you could diversify your offer in order to make you even more competitive. And in that sense, you have a rich history that remains untapped, that people don't know about. And then there are niche sectors that you could explore perhaps even more. For example, sports tourism. Now there's, in Samburu, I know that you are doing stargazing tourism. You know, there are specific things that are unique to Kenya that I think you could explore more.
All right. And as far as an exchange of tourists, how would you say we're doing? And as far as the number of visitors from Kenya probably to Portugal?
Not many, no. Not many. You could have many more Portuguese tourists in Kenya. We have, you know, air service agreement that is pending ratification in Parliament. I mean, if that could be solved and sorted out, if we could have direct flights from Lisbon to Nairobi or Mombasa, that would increase the number of tourists, Portuguese tourists here, and also perhaps the other way as well.
Yeah, because Europe still accounts for the biggest number of influx of tourists to Kenya. Even under the European Union Commission, what do you think we're missing out on? Is it still the treaties as far as flights are concerned?
Yes, well, there is the number of slots is limited. Perhaps also the capacity of the Kenyan airports needs to be expanded if you want to increase the number of flights.
Okay. What about improving what we have already? You talked about safari and you talked about even the beaches as well. What do you think Kenya could learn from Portugal and as far as improving that? Because yes, there's a lot of focus on those two main areas.
I think you need to invest more on marketing, because you can have the best offer in the world, but if people don't know about it, if you are not well known, it does not make any difference. And I think that's the biggest problem here. It's not just tourism. You have wonderful coffee, you have excellent tea, but it's not marketed as such. You need to invest more in making publicity of your own country, of what you have that is so genuine and so different from everybody else, in specific markets in Europe and in other places.
All right, so Madam Ambassador, do you find it curious or rather interesting that hundreds of years later, Kenya still depends on some of the architecture left behind by the Portuguese, namely Fort Jesus and the Vasco da Gama pillar in Malindi? And do you think we could improve on some of those things that we've been dependent on for too long?
No, I'm not surprised, because, you know, when it comes to tourism, it's not just beaches and safaris, but what makes you Kenya. And what makes you Kenya, it's your history. So it's naturally that you capitalize on that, because cultural heritage also has economic value. So if tourists want to see what it is unique to your country, well, go for it.
Yes. And from that exploratory nature of the Portuguese, do you feel that you still do that you're still out there looking for new frontiers to discover or to conquer?
Well, we try. I mean, we have been pioneering when it comes to renewable energies, for example, and also artificial intelligence. And we are doing progresses also in new areas. So yes, the spirit is still very much there.
All right. Now, if at all I would want to visit Portugal, for example, someday, where would you point me to and tell me this, if you go to Portugal, you must visit this place?
It would very much depend on your personal interests. I would have to ask you first, what are they? Because there's so much to see, not just in the continent, but also in our islands, in Azores and Madeira. It would depend how much time would you have and what exactly are your interests.
All right. If at all you could make a comparison between the kind of beaches we have and point someone to something they've never seen along the coastline of Portugal.
I would recommend the north, although it would perhaps be a little bit tough for a Kenyan because you would find the water too cold. Because I find it funny when I'm here, because in winter you are always complaining about the cold, where I find it extremely pleasant. So I guess that our waters would be a bit too cold for you.
All right, interesting. And if at all someone would come to Kenya, someone from Portugal, and they would want to visit Kenya, where would you point them to?
The coast for sure, but also places like Mount Kenya, like Samburu. I would say, get out of the beaten path. Go try something else. Try Samburu stargazing, for example. Try Mount Kenya, if you are fit, at least. And the coast, always.
What about the cuisine? What is your favorite meal in Kenya been?
At the coast, we always go to the same place. What can I say? I'm Portuguese, I like fish. And the best fish in Kenya is at the coast. Sorry.
So in as far as Kenyan cuisine is concerned, just the fish?
Well, I like sukuma, believe it or not.
Alongside the fish?
Alongside the fish.
Not ugali?
It depends on what you put on top of it.
What about Portuguese cuisine? If at all I was to visit Portugal, what should I try?
Well, I've noticed that you Kenyans have a sweet tooth. So I would recommend the desserts. That's for sure. We have not just the famous pastéis de nata, but we have many more. It's much more diversified than that. And in my modest opinion, we have better desserts than pastéis de nata.
All right. So even as we come to a close, do you see possible areas of collaboration between Portugal and Kenya going forward now that you're still the ambassador here?
Yes, especially when it comes, for example, in education and the Portuguese language. We have established some protocols with the University of Nairobi, but I think there's room because there's the interest. Students are interested. The interest is there. So one area would be to try a pilot project in the Kenyan school system for Portuguese language to be taught, not just at university level, but at a lower level. I think that would be a good project to move forward.
Is there a push to have the Portuguese language probably taken up by Kenyan students more?
The interest is there. And you know, one of the big advantages that, for example, a student of international relations can have, it's to know the foreign language. The more, the better. And especially if you are aiming at an international organization, even at the African Union, because Portuguese is one of the official languages. So if you dominate the Portuguese, you will have already an advantage towards your competitors.
Right. Madam Ambassador, I'm going to ask you to do one thing. You'll probably look at one of the cameras and tell us something in Portuguese and then give us a translation so that we understand how does Portuguese even sound. If you could have a saying, probably a wise saying or a quote.
Well, I could start with the basic things that you can say. If you go to Portugal and you go to somewhere to buy something, you start by saying, Bom dia, como está? Which is good morning, how are you?
Bom dia.
Bom dia. Abariaco.
Oh, bom dia.
Yes.
The second word you said?
Como está?
Como está. Bom dia, como está.
Yes. That will give you immediately a smile.
All right. Bom dia, como está. At least I know 2 words in Portuguese. Yes. Thank you so much. Unless you have anything else you'd like to add?
Just to thank the Kenyans for the wonderful hospitality that I've been receiving for these past 3 years and a half. It has been a pleasure.
All right. And looking forward to a lot more such conversations with you, Madam Ambassador. Thank
be
you
a
so
pleasure.
much for your time here.
Thank you.
All right. More than 6,700 kilometers separate Lisbon from Nairobi, yet these two countries, Kenya and Portugal, have a lot in common from history, tourism and culture. Definitely more opportunities for collaboration in the future and something to look forward to. Till the next episode, adios.